Hi, comic book readers, and welcome to another episode of Off the Rack. I am Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
So today we're going to be talking about the new books that came out this past week, and of course talk about some books, one or two books that came out the week prior because we skipped the week prior's episode, given that it was a holiday, and we took advantage of that holiday. I also want to thank anybody who was on social media for the birthday wishes. I had another birthday, and I appreciate everyone's kindness. Pointing it out. I got a big ass birthday gift from my incredible friends and family, which is the X-Men arcade you can see behind Tiffany. Now part of the set. We got together and on said birthday opened and played it, and we beat it.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah. It was a whole covert operation.
It was indeed.
Because the studio is monitored.
Yeah,
but
for security.
For security purposes. And Ethan and I got around that and managed to build it so you didn't have to be like, here's a job.
Yeah, here's 2.5 hours worth of work.
See you later.
And you made it into one and change.
That 1.5.
There you
with
go.
Like building plus stool, because we hadn't done the stool before, and we wrapped it.
That's right.
Wrapped it.
Yeah. Well, it was wrapped.
It was wrapped, just not from the back, because
No.
I bought 2 rolls of paper thinking it was enough, and
they're very big.
I was wrong.
We want to thank those of you out there who are sponsoring today's show. This episode is, of course, sponsored by viewers like you. If you're watching the show live, you can use the super chats, ask a question or comment. We'll read it here on the program, and it'll be part of the show forever. If you like the show in audio form, you can check us out as Off the Rack New Comics on Spotify and everywhere podcasts are listened to. And I want to give a special shout out to ourselves because
we're great.
Because we're great and we deserve it. No, because this channel, ComicPop Returns, turned 1 year on May 6th.
It did. That did happen.
1 year old. So it's been a year.
And we missed it.
And I'll be honest, I thought it's like, it was 2 years. Like, I thought it was longer.
I didn't even think it was a year.
See, I thought it was longer. So, but because we didn't miss a beat with ComicPop Returns. ComicPop Returns was all of the programs that you find or used to find on youtube.com/ComicPop, which is still a thriving channel that's doing great. We have back issues and shorts over there, but this is the channel where we can really try new things and more.
Just cut loose.
Cut loose. That's right. That's what we're trying to do. But yeah, so hooray. And we reached only a few weeks ago over 100 videos on this channel.
Wow. That happened quickly.
I know. Well, it's not hard to do when you do when you do 2 weekly shows.
That's true. No, that's true. Okay.
In addition to some pre-scripted stuff that we put out. No, not scripted, pre-recorded stuff. Like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which we need to get back to writing or shooting.
Reading.
Because
I haven't read those books.
No. Me either. Brian Rowlands here on the show. Hope you had a great holiday and enjoyed the time off from the show. Did Tiffany read The Closet by James Tynion?
Yeah.
Of course, it's a
James. As I like to call him, James Tiny Onion, because that's the name of his publication or his publishing house.
Yep.
It's a 3-part little series. It's a horror series. It's basically like if you were reading Razor Blades,
his magazine.
Yeah, like he's way into horror, and he's got a whole bunch of books coming out. And in fact, in the back of the closet are a whole bunch of ads for a whole bunch of books that he's got coming out. But the closet, because it was only a 3-issue commitment to me, and like every once in a while, I just want a book that I know there's a beginning, middle, and end, which is literally what we're gonna get here. It's 3 issues, so yeah, I did read it. The book is a miserable book. As only some horror can give you. It's just there's just misery on the page.
Naturally.
It's the story of a family who's moving. And they're moving because they're doing that thing that some families do, which is like, you know what the problem is with our family and our relationship?
Where we are and where we live.
We'll move and we'll start over and everything will be better, and that will fix everything. It will fix nothing. You'll just be in a different place and have the same problems that come with you, right? And like, honestly, I think this book has a lot of like meta reading to it, because The Closet's going to bring about like, the idea is like there's a little kid and he's afraid of what's in his closet.
Okay.
Right? And it's like, oh, but they're like, we've got one more day where we're just like, we're going to leave. It's going to be fine. Right. This is like supernatural is happening over here. In the real world, like mom and dad are just fighting. And like, honestly, we get to read a lot of it. And I was like, oh, I don't know how to do this. I don't want to read this. It's real rough.
Yeah.
It's real rough. So if that's something that like triggers you or like upsets you, this may not be the book for you. But it does paint a really vivid world. and make me question like whether or not the supernatural is real or not, like some sort of like manifestation of this.
Like Ghostbusters 2. Where your protoplastic slime is a byproduct of all the hate and misery and rage that people feel.
Sure. Let's go with that.
Why wouldn't it?
But but the little twist here at the end that we're going to be running with is that, like, yes, he's leaving the closet and the monster behind, but it turns out that the closet wasn't there originally and it became a thing, and so the closet's coming with them.
Oh,
and
no.
the little boy knows that.
Okay.
And it's like the monster's like
it's metaphorical.
It is metaphorical. It's going to come with you, right? So I'm like, I'm really looking forward to seeing which way this is going to lean. I no matter what, I think there's going to be a supernatural element, but like how much of it might be tied into real world problems. So like this is very much up my alley. I had to get into the mindset because I was reading some other books, and then I read this book, and like the misery hit hard.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoo, and like the art itself, I think we've mentioned before that like it was in Wolverine.
Yeah.
One of the Kuberts was using this brush, this digital brush, clearly that like looks like fingerprints.
Yeah.
It's in this too.
Oh.
So I was like, that they must all be sharing this.
There's no way they're not sharing information.
Like, oh, I like
each
this
other.
brush. You should try this one. So like the art style itself is like grim and gritty, and it really fits. Art's by Gavin Fullerton. It's written by James Tynion IV, if I hadn't said that earlier. I know I called him Tiny Onion, but still. But it is really well done. It's going to be a tight little story, just I believe surrounding this family. And if that's your bag, go check this out, because it's like I said, it's really well done. But just as a heads up, like there is like this real world element that is just like that's the part that feels worse. Like I almost welcomed the monster, although there was something they did very specifically in this that I was like, no, like kids in bed and like the monster comes. It's like we see like the like panel breakdown where it's like just utter blackness because he's got his eyes closed. Yeah, and then you just see on the bed just the foot of the monster like on the sheets, and I'm like, no, you're breaking the rules.
That's great.
You're in bed. You're safe.
Yeah. Not anymore, man.
Rules.
Not with modern horror.
No, I know. It's all over.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So you got a little bonus review of The Closet.
I was going to bring it up no matter what, because like I dug that book, but like I said, like it was a bit of a misery fest.
Well, while you're on the subject, why don't we talk about the Sandman teaser that was dropped today? Because they just released the teaser trailer for the Sandman Netflix series, which is debuting August 5th or something? Yeah. August 6th?
Yeah, August something. No, like literally I got like I was on some sort of list of like press list, so like it doesn't really matter. You get the email like moments before it goes out. Literally, it's like the email. I was there and I saw the number of views. It was 4.
Right. Like, wow, I'm one of the first.
I refreshed it. It was 1,300. It was like literally like a minute and a half later. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But humble brag there. Like number 5 or 6
hey,
or 10 or 20th.
Nice.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, the teaser's out, and I'm really glad that like a lot of people are going to get to know this story, even if the story is probably going to be a little different than the source material.
Yeah, I think it's guaranteed to be different.
Yes. So I'm really excited for people who are going to discover this for the very first time. And I sincerely hope that they don't then find their own sense of disappointment when they go to the books if they're so drastically different. So we'll see. There is something about like an artist's work at a very specific time. Like if Alan Moore had written Watchmen at a different time, it would be a very different book, right? Because it's like it's intrinsically tied to where he was as a human being and where the world was and the state of comic books just in general. So it's like it's really rooted in its history. And I feel like Sandman's very similar. Yeah. Because it's like very rooted in the world of, like surrounding like Neil Gaiman and himself and what he wanted to do and this opportunity with Vertigo. So like part of me is upset that like he is making changes. Now it is at least him making the changes, but he's altering his own, like, this is where I was as a person. Yeah. It's like a different person is altering the work. Yeah. So listen, like I'm just excited for people to discover this world. I don't think that this show is going to be a home run for me, but that doesn't mean it's not good for other people. It's just for me, there's just certain things that like I really tie to the character, and I gotta tell you, seeing his eyes really bothers me. And like I didn't realize it until we saw so many shots of it. And I know Gaiman went out there and was like, it always bothered me when they couldn't do Batman with like the all white eyes. But like he literally says this. He's like, but like then it turns out like, you know, you need to see someone's eyes to emote. And I'm like, you know, Carl Urban didn't need it. Right. I'm like, maybe you got too tied into specific features of the actor and not if the actor could do it without being able to see the eyes. I don't know.
Or maybe it's really important that Dream Morpheus not have eyes to emote with because he's so emotionless.
Right, and otherworldly.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. It's not like I'm not gonna watch it. I will check it out for sure when it shows up. But like I said, I'm just glad that people are excited and that this is gonna open a door for a lot of people to get into a comic, which was a gateway for people.
Yes. Yeah, to get into comics
out,
and Vertigo, Sandman, Gaiman as a writer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So much. Well, I'll jump into last week's books just a little bit. I don't want to talk too much about them, but I did read Avengers number 56. Let's just say that I got a press copy, and I dipped my toe back into the Avengers.
How was it?
It was horrible.
Was it cold?
Yeah, it was cold, cold and miserable. No, I'm kidding. It's so okay. It's Jason Aaron's Avengers. He's been writing for 56 issues. It's time for him. It's about 50 issues too long, in my opinion. This one is drawn by, I guess, Javier Garron. It is there's a council of Mephistos. Jane Foster is Valkyrie. She gets put into a alternate reality where, like, it doesn't matter. The idea is that Aaron's using it as an opportunity to explore Jane Foster again because really Jane Foster hasn't been a character worth exploring since Jason Aaron wrote her in the beginning, like in the first place. So here we are again. Because of course, Jane Foster's Valkyrie, Odinson is Thor, and Jane is trapped in like an alternate reality where she's married to Thor Odinson, and basically an alternate version of her, Jane Foster, shows up, but it's the Jane Foster that didn't stop being Thor.
Oh, okay.
So she's faced with the possibility of herself if she never relinquished Mjolnir. Well, if Odinson never came back to life, really.
Right.
But like, if it didn't work out, or if it really worked out for her. And what it does is it's just, what it clearly is an exploration of characters, and I assume that every issue will be like a character study, because that seems to be what Aaron wants to do. That's all Heroes Reborn was. Every issue was a character study of a member of the Squadron Supreme. Thanks.
So, wait, I'm sorry. I might have just blanked out for a second. Is this...
So real Jane,
yeah, no,
Earth
but like,
616 Jane.
I understand that.
Jane.
I just think it's interesting because like Judgment Day is coming. It isn't Judgment Day supposed to be like an opportunity for like the Celestials to like judge characters within the Marvel universe, and like to basically do something like this.
Yeah, it absolutely is a tie-in to Judgment Day.
Okay, because I was gonna say it just kind of feels like Aaron trying to take the teeth out of what Gillen's trying to do.
No, he probably knows that Gillen's not going to do anything with Jane, so he's going to do that with Jane himself.
Okay.
And what he seems to imply, the only thing that really matters, the reason I'm even talking about it, is because at the end of it, basically Jane is like, maybe I shouldn't have given it back. Like, I miss Mjolnir. And it's just this scene of like her like sitting next to Thor and like Mjolnir sitting on the table, and she's kind of like, I should have it back. And I'm like, no, it's over, but okay. And it's interesting to have that be her character. Like, okay, cool. Like, that's something, I guess. It's a well-written issue. The art's good. But overall, didn't do anything to bring me back into reading the series. It's just ain't for me.
Okay, that's fair.
I also, of course, read Amazing Spider-Man number 2, which was written by Zeb Wells, with art by John Romita Jr. This issue, of course, is it's got the now infamous cover of Mary Jane walking away from Peter. We actually used it in one of our other episodes where we talked about the phenomena of Mary Jane and Peter and the leaks surrounding the last page reveal of the first issue. This it covers a lie. She's not in the issue at all, and there's no reference to it whatsoever. And so you're just going to wait until the next issue or the next 10 issues. Who knows when they'll address the Mary Jane Kid issue. All we do know is Peter is a halfway decent babysitter, and Norman is in the care of both of his grandchildren, and basically he pawns them off on Peter to be like, be responsible. The only character that is stuck around in Peter's life after what he did 6 months ago is the Green freaking Goblin, is Norman Osborn, now changed thanks to his magical sin expulsion shotgun of the Sin Eater, who is also not of this world anymore. So, comic books, everybody. So that's glossed over. Peter does that, and Tombstone is like, I'm gonna reestablish myself. I'm gonna make a rep for myself. And what he does is he basically he feeds White Rabbit, who's a character I'm convinced is just like an inside joke among comic book writers, where they're like, let's put White Rabbit in here, ha ha ha, because nobody has anything to say about her. Nobody does anything with her. I barely knew that was a character. Every time I see her, I'm like, I see her in a scene of other characters,
Right,
and
right,
I'm always
right.
just like, what a wasted character. Like, there's nothing about that character I'm interested in. I've never ever seen an image of White Rabbit and thought, man, I'd like to know more about her story.
Mm.
Anyway, Spider-Man thinks that he's got the one up on them. He asks them for information. They give him the information, but it turns out it's the information that Tombstone wanted him to get in the first place. So Spider-Man is lured by Tombstone, trapped in a truck, and in close quarters combat is handily defeated by Tombstone in a brutal fight, which is, according to the issue that I've read, which is issue 3 already, it gets even more brutal. But the idea is that Tombstone's like done with Spider-Man. And he's like, I'm done dealing with you, and I want to make an example of you. And he certainly does. And so it's
Okay.
just reestablishing Tombstone, or maybe even firmly establishing Tombstone, because nobody has a great Tombstone pitch. Everybody's got a Tombstone pitch. Nobody's executed a great Tombstone pitch in a long time.
Right.
So we're reestablishing Tombstone as a heavy hitter in the Spider-Man world.
Okay.
Also, I assume it's Zeb Wells being like, what am I going to do? Another Doc Ock story? You know, a Green Goblin story? Like,
Sure.
I'm not going to, no one's going to care about Electro story. He's a character that's underutilized, but has a lot of fun side characters, and he himself has a rich backstory that could be explored, and certainly shine up a kind of social mirror to the world itself. So there's something there. The issue is well written and really well drawn. John Romita Jr. hasn't been better in a long time. Like, it reminds me of the JMS John Romita Jr. run. So like, the art is really solid. It looks like Spider-Man. He is coming home. It doesn't look like a lot of cut corners. I think Romita Jr. has heard the criticisms over the years since he went to DC, where they're like, boo. Either people go, he used to be better, or they hate him.
Right, right.
And listen, there is a lot of Romita art over the last decade where you could tell dude had other people finish the work. Like, you know, he did breakdowns. You know, that was it.
Right.
Or he wasn't giving it his all. And this is proof, I think, in this issue that he's not past his prime. He's not done.
That's funny because this cover is rough.
It's a rough cover.
That is rough, and I can't
It's
tell.
just the faces.
It's the face. It's a lot.
Well,
no, there's a lot.
Peter's
going
proportion
on.
is wrong, but his legs are fine. Like, the legs are actually pretty on par with what Spider-Man looks like being drawn by Romita over the last 25 years.
Yeah.
It's just a question of like the composition itself. I think that this cover is a rush job.
It feels rushed. The coloring is not doing anybody any favors.
No.
I was just when you made it big for a second before, I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah, Justin Ponzer used to color him, so
right.
It's heavy loss. This one's Marcio Menez,
and that's not saying they're a bad colorist. It just may not be the right fit for the right art.
That's the thing. Like, Romita Jr. lives and dies by ink and colors, so it's like you really need to. And Scott Hanna inked it, so it looks as good as it ever did.
Well, it's just funny because, like, to me, this cover is not going to help people.
Saying,
like, Romita's like done, and like making someone be like, I'm not going to pick this up.
I tried to find like alternate covers just to use because I used this cover before.
Yeah.
The alternate cover the one cover that outshines it by a country mile.
Yeah.
Is the Patrick Gleason web variant of Hobgoblin.
That's pretty cool.
Hobgoblin's not in this, of course, but Gleason has been doing these fun web variants. You've seen his web Spider-Man covers. He's been doing a couple. He did one of the Kafka Goblin. Oh
yeah, the Goblin Queen.
Queen Goblin.
Queen Goblin.
He did one of her, and this one, I'm like, this is cool. This is a great cover. I in fact on Facebook I suggested that he make a triptych. Your word. Of all of them. Like, just make them all. And he's like, which ones? Like, which ones should all go together? And I'm like, the goblins.
Yeah.
So they don't fit in together, but maybe they will one day. But yeah, it's a recommend. I think it's a well-written issue, and I think the art is as good as Romita is capable of giving you in today's world. So you take that for what it's worth.
Okay.
But that's what I think. I also have to recommend Punisher number 3, of course, which is written by Jason Aaron with art by Paul as Sayla or as Kayla. If I want to like really white guy it up, this book is so effing good.
Yeah.
It's just stupid how good this book is. And it's so funny to me because of how people were like, no, I have a Doctor Strange pitch. Yeah, you damn right. Yeah. Listen, everybody got a Doctor Strange pitch.
I do.
Yeah, of course you do. You do, finally? Good.
Yeah.
It's about time. I do.
I do. I know. Well, you like.
Yeah, but I've been sitting on it for 15 years.
Yeah.
You know it.
Yeah.
We talked about it.
It's fine.
If they had done it.
Yeah, that's different.
15 years ago.
Yeah, but you can't do it now.
It
doesn't work now.
It really doesn't. It really doesn't now. Or it'd be like it'd be like, what? Actually, it could work even better now.
Yeah.
But yeah, Punisher number 3 is so great. The art's fantastic. The story's fun. The implication, they're retconning Frank's origin a little bit. They're saying this is the issue where they're like the queen of the hand or whatever the hell, the old lady is in charge of the beast and crap. I don't care what the hand and the beast and the ninjas are. I don't give a crap about any of that. I just care about what Frank's up to.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, Punisher was not born on the battlefield, and he wasn't born when she's referencing all these things that you like the Punisher,
Yeah.
but the first kill that you made, and it's like when he was a kid, and it's cool. It works.
All right.
It doesn't. I don't think it changes a damn thing. It does, however, make him creepy because he murdered a man. Basically, there was a known terrible person in his neighborhood who used to beat on, I think his wife, and then he killed her. I think that's the idea. And Frank sets him on fire. Wearing a Captain America mask.
Sometimes you're gonna be set on fire by a kid.
Well, he douses him in kerosene and then immolates him wearing a Captain America mask, which I think is kind of awesome.
I'm sure Cap doesn't.
Cap, I hope that there is, because it's so rare. Like, I remember when we did our back issues episode about Punisher kills the Marvel Universe. That issue with Garth Ennis is like, Punisher has no respect for Captain America. Right. Maybe a little.
Maybe.
But he's like, we have very different interpretations of what war is, pal. You have no idea where I've been.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's like Mark Miller or pretty much anybody else, Frank worships Captain America. Like, he really looks up to Steve.
Yeah.
And I would love to see Jason Aaron have Steve show up in this and be like, that's enough out of you.
Right.
I'd really like to see Steve be like, that's enough. Anyway, it's a really good series.
Telling you.
It's all coming down. Maria loses it in the gardens.
Oh, sure.
She's like, where are they? We left them at the park.
Yeah. She's going to have her Wanda moment, but she doesn't have superpowers.
She doesn't have superpowers.
Or magic.
Yeah, but so he has to go to the beast and basically pray. And the end of the issue is that he has to like beg for his children. And there's 2 coffins.
Okay.
So.
Okay. This is what Aaron does.
Yeah.
Give him a character.
One
Give
character.
A character. And like their ancillary characters, and you're going to get some pretty good quality.
Damn right. But I love that people were like, boo, I can't believe that they're changing everything. And then it's like, oh, it's really good. And we all just shut up about it. Also, Devil's Reign ended, and it was like fine. They're setting up a new status quo for Luke Cage.
Mm-hmm.
Devil's Reign, Omega, Jim Zub, Daniel Barnes, Chip Zdarsky, Luciano Vecchio, Guillermo Sana, and Rafael De La Torre. This Devil's Reign Omega just wraps it up. There's no need for it. It's completely dispensable, but it does set up like the new status quos. Like it sets up who the who the Thunderbolts are going to be, why, what Luke Cage is up to, where his status quo is. Yeah. It's all necessary. Also, what Matt's whole thing is, also setting up like they weren't, they killed off Mike, but maybe not. So
what?
But Matt's using this as an opportunity to retire Matt Murdock and be Daredevil full time and go with Elektra away to fight the Hand, which of course is for me a great idea because it means he's going to have to go face to face with the Punisher.
Yeah, they're gonna have to go against that. That cover's great.
It's a gorgeous cover. I think that Zdarsky's Daredevil is like not even a well-kept secret, but like I imagine that anyone at Marvel is probably like, "Hey, can I get a piece of that action? Because like this is a really like it's a good universe, it's a good place to be." They did this event that nobody really talked about, and it was kind of
Right.
like forgettable, but at the same time, you can't argue with it. It was like fun. It was a decent issue. It was a
Yeah.
different event, and not terribly overwhelming. But yeah, I recommend that one as well.
Okay.
Anyway, is there anything from last week that you want to talk about that we like? That, just in case.
No.
Task Force Z. God damn it. But anyway, so this week.
Yeah.
This week's books.
Let's do that.
Let's get
I
into
already
it.
did one.
You did, but let me really quick. I want to jump into some super chats.
You should probably do that.
Yeah, just so they don't pile up.
Which is very kind, and thank you very much.
Oh yeah, no, thank you guys. No, I just meant like I don't want to lose you
I
guys.
think we looked at that one. Oh no, we didn't look at that one. You're right.
Psycho Reds and Sandman's coming to Netflix. Is Sandman coming to back issues again? Great question, Tiffany.
I mean, we could.
I agree. it's whenever we can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Abe Sapien, Poison Ivy comes out tomorrow. Hell yeah.
Yeah, and it's like 30,000
variant covers.
I like to just up that number each time. I'm sure it's really not that many. It feels like a lot, which is fine. It's just everybody wants to draw Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to draw Poison Ivy.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Andrew Forrester finally caught you guys live again. Thanks for all the great shows, you guys. Well, thank you for watching.
Thank you,
and thank you for your support. Chase Eichler, hey guys, been a while since I've been here live. That's true, man. It's been a while, but good to be back. Are either of you going to pick up Aquaman Andromeda this week? The art looks dope. Love you guys. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much, Chase. I forgot about that book.
Next week, I guess.
Yeah, next week.
This week. Tomorrow.
Yeah, I missed that. I didn't remember that. So there you go.
Well,
I'll have to grab it. Probably. We'll see.
Kingsport,
Cal. Hey friends. Y'all watching The Boys season 3? Nah. I reached my quota of misery and like sexual deviancy.
Sal doesn't watch it, and we like to try to spend some time together since
we don't have enough time.
Yeah. So I've not seen it.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Ray Farr. Hey Sal and Tiff. Sal, what's your favorite piece of Spidey comic media of the last 10 years? Mine has been What Ifs. Lol. By the way, love your hats, Tiffany.
Thank you.
It's been there's a lot of good stuff from Spider-Man. I mean, like 10 years, obviously Into the Spider-Verse was a great movie. I loved No Way Home.
There's no way it's not the Spider-Man game.
Spider-Man game. Yeah. No, the games. Yeah, both of them are pretty great. But Spider-Man PS4 is, pitch perfect. No complaints. Such joy. Much wow.
Yes, you've played it multiple times.
Yeah,
that's why I'm like, I think it's
times.
that.
Yeah.
It's either that or it's Spider Shadow.
Yeah, Spider Shadow was great too. A lot of good Spider stuff. It's a good time. Be a Spider-Man fan, kind of. Ray Farr. Hey, also, how much money do I have to super chat for a basket shoe solely on Garfield comic strips? Oh, that wacky Garfield. We're never gonna do that. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
I deliberately don't have like tiers so that doesn't happen. The Fodder Box Kid. Hey guys, hope you're doing great, and wanted to ask if either of you have read Murder Falcon by Daniel Warren Johnson. I started reading yesterday, and it's incredibly ridiculous.
I've read a little bit of it, but I'm an Extremity fan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I have never read it. It just doesn't appeal to me. Like he's doing a book called Do a Power Bomb. If you like Murder Falcon, you're gonna love Do a Power Bomb, and it is really, really D-dubs Z. But I don't care about wrestling, and I know that like he's pitched it where it's like you don't need to be a wrestling fan to enjoy it.
Right.
But
it helps.
But I think it helps a lot,
and
it is worth reading, and it's great. It's not the thing that I look for from him, But he was nominated for an Eisner for Beta Ray Bill, so pick that up.
Yeah, but I mean it's up against Supergirl.
He's got another one.
Does he?
Yeah,
they both do. So they're not going to win that at all.
No, it's Best New Series. So it's like I think he's up against Tom for both. It's Supergirl and Human Target, and it's like, listen,
there's going to be some other thing in there that's
right,
going to win.
No,
and like I just
it was drawn on a napkin by a person from Antarctica.
There are a lot of good like options in there. I just have a lot of passion for Supergirl.
Yeah, Supergirl is.
But I don't think they're going to get it. I don't know why.
I think they will.
I hope so.
I think Supergirl will get it. I think if they're smart, they'll delay Human Target, because Human Target's like got a 6 to 8 month or 6 to 12 month hiatus, so it's like you can wait until next year.
Yeah,
you can Return of the King that book. Victor Vendetta, thank you very much for your super chat, man.
Thank you.
And
whoops,
And MNNM says, I don't think JR Jr. has an objectively bad period. Hearing him in interviews, it seems his roughness these last years was deliberate. It probably looks more refined now because the editors made him. I mean, if I were Marvel, I'd be like, don't do any of that Superman shit. I don't want to fucking see that. I mean, like, listen, this is really old. This is dating me, but like Penny Arcade. Penny Arcade, the comic strip, not the convention circuit. Same people, though. But Penny Arcade, it was rough because it was Gabe learning, and then it was like really rough. And you could watch the whole book, like you can watch the strip grow and evolve, and then you can see that Gabe like gets some. He's like, ooh, I like that style, and then just like that's what the strip looked like for like too long, where he's like, everyone has red noses.
Sal's got a really big thing about that.
It looked really bad, and it was very distracting.
Well, it subjectively looked bad.
That's right.
To you.
That's right. And that's, I think, but he was doing it deliberately. Like he was drawing bad on purpose, just like I think Ramita was doing, where he's like, let me try this. Like it increases my productivity. Listen, it makes me go faster, but also
yes, but there is a thing about age because it's like just if you're not keeping yourself healthy,
no, it's true.
Like you're gonna, it's
hard.
Like athletes can't play the game forever. You know, artists, same thing. It changes over time.
It's true. Paul Williams would recommend a listen to Batman Unburied, great audio drama. Yeah, I don't have any time.
We'll make time,
but I'll check it out. I hear good things too. You're not
we'll be driving someplace.
You're not alone. You're not alone. And the Telphonics, thank you very much for your support. So yeah, this week, what do you got, Tiffany? I've talked enough.
Oh, just really quickly for my other independent thing that I read, Step by Bloody Step ended.
It's over.
It's over. And it definitely went away. I didn't quite see coming until we got partway into it, and I actually had to like go through it and like reread it again, reading quotes, because if you don't know, if you don't remember me saying, Step by Bloody Step is a book by Cy Spurrier, Matea Bagara, and Matt Lopez.
I think that's right.
Lopes.
Yeah, Lopes, right?
Who's also the colorist on Supergirl. Which you can see a lot of like similarities in terms of like color palette. He's unafraid of color, which is great.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say what happens in this book, but like I gotta tell you this. Oh, again, this is a book without words. So Cy Spurrier came up with the story, and Matea really took over and just told the story in visuals alone. So it's up to you to determine what's happening by using the images to tell the story to you.
Yeah.
It's a really great exercise, honestly. And like,
was it successful?
I think so. Because this book will obviously be up to some form of interpretation as to what is going on and what the emotions you're seeing in each panel are. But I think they successfully told a story that I completely understand, even though it takes place in a world that is not our own. It's a mythical world someplace else with its own sets of rules and whatever, but you get the story in here.
Yep.
And I honestly think it was a really good exercise for me in general, because after reading it, the books I read after that, I pay more attention
to the art
a little more so. Because sometimes I hate to say it, every once in a while, I'm just reading the words.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at I'm reading the story. Not always, obviously, like some books, the art commands. But I think it's a really solid exercise, and it is going to be collected. I think it's coming out in August. But it's only 4 issues. It's just good. So check it out.
Yeah, you should. What else you want to talk about?
Oh, you might as well.
Yeah,
I read Strange.
Sal
got me a nice
Peach Momoko variant. I didn't know it was a new issue. I literally I saw it and I was like, she doesn't have this one. She doesn't have that cover, so I just picked it up.
Thank you. It's just more of the same here. From Jed McKay.
Hard to believe.
Marcelo Ferreira.
Yeah, Ferreira.
Lots of R's and vowels, and I'm just bad at things. But it's just a lot of like, listen, it's Clea being what Clea is apparently in this, which is a ball of rage and a coiled spring of a person. She, is able to like obviously tap into her faultine roots and the fact that she's the Sorcerer Supreme of the Dark Dimension. The Rose makes an appearance in here.
Yes, you mentioned that.
Yeah, because she wants to find the other like gangsters who attacked that hidden back alley marketplace. So she goes to the Rose because she's like, you're an asshole, so you'll be able to help me out, right?
Sure.
Like you know where the blasphemy cartel is, so tell me about it.
Is that a new invention by McKay? Because that sounds like a new invention by McKay.
So so notably, like, you know, he betrays her. It doesn't matter. She gets out of it. And,
of course, because he's just the Rose. He's just a dude.
Yeah. Well, he just warns the blasphemy cartel that she's coming. He tells them exactly where they are, and then they tells them like, "Oh, hey, watch it, she's coming."
Yeah.
And then, you know, it's revealed that her mom's coming to dinner. So Umar's coming to dinner. So we're gonna do that kind of an issue.
Sure.
And then we get the reveal of like, oh, who's behind it? So.
Oh, is it fun? Is it a cool reveal?
I mean,
I don't know what I'm looking at.
It's nobody.
Cool. Is it cool? Is that cool?
I don't know.
Is it possible? I was just thinking about this while you were talking. Is it possible that like Strange really didn't want her to be Sorcerer Supreme and that somebody forged his like request?
No, I think it's absolutely true. I think absolutely. Yes. But like they here's what's interesting about this book is they mention words like Lazarus agents, and because we're
resurrection agents, you might say,
because we're dealing with Jed McKay, who right now is writing
Moon Knight.
You're gonna see Moon Knight in this book, and so next issue they're promising us the reintroduction of Dark Moon Knight, the Shadow Knight.
Oh, Shadow Knight,
and also Star Wars.
Oh yeah, so.
But like I'm like, yeah, of course, because I have no problem with that, honestly.
No, I mean, Bendis did it all the time when he was writing 17 books.
Especially when writers are working on it simultaneously.
Yes.
Like, and the character isn't taking over the book.
Right. It's just part of the larger world.
Like
that's always fun to say.
Like when Dennis Hopeless took over Strange for a very brief period of time during that
yes, the event.
Whatever that event was.
Who cares? It was terrible.
And basically just tried to make it a Jessica Drew.
Right, because he's like, well, I got my Spider-Woman book got canceled prematurely, so I'll just finish it up.
Right. Which sucks because it's like listen, put a character in there, but don't make it their book. It's not their book. They can be part of the team.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
But sorry, Director Nunn, not Nobody.
Oh,
I was thinking Mr. Nobody.
Yes, from Doom Patrol.
Not this book.
Not that universe.
This is Director Nunn.
I have no idea who that is.
But yeah, so anyway, apologize. I was like, that's not right. I'm thinking of something else entirely. Yeah. It was fine.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of the past few issues have just been a lot of her yelling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fine.
A lot.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of cool magic and stuff going on in there.
Yeah.
But like right now I'm just kind of like waiting for things to get back.
Right.
Or see where this is going, I guess.
Yes.
You know, because right now her entire focus is very much on this one thing,
this
one task, and either the task will be accomplished or it won't. But either way, we'll move on.
Right.
One way or the other.
I mean, it feels like this has been going on for like at least 5 issues, and there's only 3 issues of this series.
Well, that's because we came from the event.
Right.
Where she promised she would get him back.
Yes. So there you go.
Yeah. It was fun.
Cool.
Don't at me.
I'm sure no one cares enough to do that.
I don't think so.
Jumping right back into the super chats really quick. Will I Am Golden says, been having a hard time lately, and shows like these are the light as my week. Thanks, guys. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Will, but I'm glad to see that you're you're looking for the bright side and you're trying,
Yeah, that's a really great like mentality to keep because it helps. It really does. So
exactly. Keep it up, man.
Good for you.
Matthew Chalaga, I hate that trend in comics of redeeming the ultimate villain because they've run out of ideas for what to do with them. Have Norman and Peter worked together? Sure, why not? Have Magneto join the X-Men? Why the hell not? Magneto has led the X-Men. The Magneto has been an X-Man. There is an alternate future that most people prefer to this one, where Magneto was the only leader of the X-Men. There's a precedent for Magneto and the X-Men.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Norman and Peter working together is not unlike, you know what this is? This is full on, straight up wish fulfillment by the creators. No. Norman and Peter used to talk to each other as not Spider-Man and Green Goblin a lot. Like, ever since Norman was created, up until Norman found out Peter was Spider-Man. Like, there's a whole chunk of time where Norman was just Mr. Osborn and Peter had to deal with him, and he didn't even know he was the Green Goblin. Then when he does know he's Green Goblin, he still has to deal with him. I mean, like, I think Spider-Man finds out he's Green Goblin when Norman finds out he's Spider-Man. Like, there's no time where there's anyone has a one-upper on anybody, except
Mm.
when, of course, Norman has amnesia. But even then, like, it's just, there is a precedent for that. It's just surprising because the last time it happened was about 50 years ago.
Well, I would say too, maybe it's a reaction to what we saw in the last Spider-Man movie, where there was just a brief window of time where they were working together, and it's more of a like, what if?
Yeah, what if it kept going? Or what if we got a chance to actually see that? Paul Williams, oops, I meant for anyone. I know you're busy enough. No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. But yeah, okay. So I read Justice League Road to Dark Crisis.
Nice.
Which-
How is the road?
The road is bumpy. It's a bumpy road, but you knew that. Everybody knew that. But it's an uphill road as well. Not for me, but I understand for a lot of people, because it's another crisis, right? It's you killed the Justice League. It's another crisis. You can't have another crisis after the Batman Who Laughs or Perpetua makes all of Earth a piece of rock with guitars all over it, only to then say, like, but an ultimate evil's coming from space. It's going to destroy everything. Like,
Yep.
Except this is a continuity beast. Like, Perpetua is a new idea that nobody asked for. This, I think, is the culmination of, this is an apology crisis.
But you can't have an apology crisis because no one's ready for that, because the taste of the other crisis is still in our mouths.
Right.
Because
but
we had like a pandemic, and so like time's weird. So even if X amount of time happened between, it doesn't feel like that.
Well, also people liked that. So for that, like,
That I
this
don't
is a
understand either.
no, this is a reminder. This is an apology crisis to old fans and a reminder to new fans what DC actually is.
Right.
Because this is a legacy
So
crisis.
is this trying to like go to like to make people remember like
It's no
Rebirth or before?
Before. No, this is what real DC is. This is like, no.
But a lot of people liked Rebirth.
Yeah, well, Rebirth was just Jeff Johns' recollection of what DC is really about.
Right.
And this is Josh's recollection of what DC is about. And what DC is about legacy. It's about characters and history and taking up the mantle and doing the right thing and what the DC universe represents. Like, there isn't a hint of cynicism or sarcasm or misery or subversion in this. But unlike something like Endless Winter, which is kind of like an unobservantly classic Justice League story, this is very much aware of itself and is trying to go like, I'm trying to say something about what the DC universe really ought to be, despite the fact that, like, seemingly nobody wants the DC universe to be this.
Okay.
It's like, you can't deny it. You can't. It's like everyone in the world thinks that chocolate ice cream is pistachio ice cream. You know, it's like, you're eating chocolate. And like, nope, this is pistachio. It's like, there's no amount of convincing that will change your mind, even if you are looking dead in the face of what this actual flavor is. The DC universe is about legacy, and it is about hope and optimism and heroism, but nobody remembers that or cares or wants it to be that. And it's like, but I'm in charge now, and I'm going to tell you what this really is, even if it's just for me. And that is no more apparent than in this very uninteresting issue of Justice League Road to Crisis, in which characters react to the fact that Justice League are dead. It's, again, like, you know, but at the same time, A, we know the Justice League isn't dead. B, we know the Justice League is coming back. And C, but like,
but then what's the point of this?
The point of this is to see how the universe reacts and to see that, like, the next guard is there, but not to artificially create a new This is not Future State, where it's like, how about all this random new stuff? And it's like, why? For what reason? It's like, because I want you to see this brand new stuff, because I want to make a Black Batman and I want to do this new thing. Like, Jace Fox has become a good book, but I know that behind the scenes, they were just like, Black Batman will sell. That's the headline. That's a creatively bankrupt concept. You know, that's not a pitch. You know, that's a tweet. And they did that. Here is what this universe is capable of, and here's the next guard. real creative people actually took Jace and made him interesting and made him a Batman,
Right.
you know, and the rest.
Mhm.
And I don't mean to be dismissive about the rest, but like that's the rest. Everyone else you
Yeah.
saw from Future State, you know, some of them are great ideas and some of them are less than great ideas, or some
Mhm.
of them became good ideas. I don't think there are already really, really bad ideas, except for like NFL Super Pro. But like these characters all have the potential to be great. They just need great creators, or at least excited creators.
Yes.
Road to Dark Crisis is just like, let's see how Wally reacts and how Dick Grayson reacts, how John and Dick interact about it, because I'm not going to derail what Taylor's doing in Nightwing, which is where there would be a natural conversation of Dick and John to talk about the death of Superman.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to do it in this because, you know, I'm not going to disrupt that book because it's already great. Also, you know, this book is like $6. So, you know, I'm going to know $6. I'm a business. I mean, come on. So we get a few stories like, what's the new Aquaman gonna do? What's the new or what's Wally gonna do? And it's like, that one feels the worst because like Wally did that after the first crisis.
I know.
And but Wally has to deal with like his replacement Wally from the New 52 and explain to him how it works, and you know, what's Hal gonna do and how's he gonna react, and da 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 da. And there's some fun homage art in there, like Dan Jurgens draws the John Nightwing story, and it looks like Dan Jurgens drew it. You know, it's like it is very much cemented in a time. And ironically, there's a sequence that he depicts, which is a flashback to the death of Superman that he drew back in the day, and that looks the best out of all the art in the story. Like the new stuff is John, like John smashes a villain, and he looks gleeful while doing it. And then you turn the page and he interacts with Dick and he's like, how are you happy? Like, my dad is dead. And I'm like, then why were you smiling literally 1 page ago?
Right.
And it's like, because Dan Jurgens can't help but draw Superman smiling. That's why. And there's something kind of sweet about that, but albeit inconsistent. This issue is just kind of like, what? There's a whole Pariah story in here.
Oh, good.
Where how Pariah is basically convinced to build his machine and start all over again. And it's just, you would love it because it's basically this, it's just what he does. It's him crying and complaining. And then his family is like a hallucination, but clearly just a manipulation of the dark, of the great darkness, making him make the machine. But like, he sees his family and it's great because there's a moment where he's like, oh, I like, because the idea is, you know, the multiverse was artificially rebuilt. And so he's like, but in the multiverse, his world doesn't exist. Like, they rebuilt the multiverse and he still has no Earth. And he's like, I don't know what it is, but the powers that be said there's no Earth. And they're like, that's horse shit. Like, his wife is like, and it's a really cool image because like his wife is bleeding black blood out of her eyes and mouth. And like, she screams at him and she like pushes him down and she just oozes into his face. And he's like, ah! It's just kind of like a really cool visual, even though it's like, why are you doing this? But then they go, you didn't even care about us when we were alive.
No, he didn't. He's
like,
a dick.
But that's something they bring up where it's like, you know, you didn't even care back then. So like, why would I ever expect you to care now? And it's like, that's kind of cool because of course he's a pathetic loser who like wants to prove to them that he would care, even though he would never care. And so, you know, it's this issue kind of like retroactively explains like how Hal found out about the death of Justice League. And even though I think he finds out in issue 1 of Dark Crisis that like how the death of Justice League happens. So it's also inconsistent with its own continuity. So whatever. But like, the issue itself is fine. It's a little bit of fun and it's just a showcase. But again, I think the star of it is just like that little Pariah story, but more importantly, seeing Dick and John interact and talk about how it's like, these things happen.
Pariah makes me really grumpy.
Yeah.
Like, he just makes me grumpy.
Well, he's a
I just don't like him.
No, but like, that's a great character because he actually makes you feel something.
No.
You know,
they should put him in the sun.
Like, well, I'm sure that Pariah won't walk away from this.
I hope not.
Lee Allen. Hey, Tiff, I bought Aaron's Conan book and all 5 issues of King. Conan with 6 in my pull list. Do you think there'll ever be a trade paperback for King with rights issues?
I like to think so because
they had to work it out with the other company.
Yeah, because the company's just taking it away now. You know, it doesn't mean that they can't publish or like put out prints of books they've already done.
I would suggest that you get it when it comes out.
Yeah, like don't if it does, even when it does come out, go get it. Don't don't sleep on that because
Don't wait for them to reprint it because they won't.
Yeah, I hope so though. I really do.
Yeah. Matthew Chalaga, now that it's been revealed that Booster and Harley are going to be on the new Justice League team, do you think the writer will use this opportunity to rekindle their romance? No. I also wouldn't count on that team being around forever. But, it does get headlines. Supreme Omega on recent Spidey, I'm tired of Norman Osborn. Let him retire, keep him dead. Hell, he should have stayed dead. His revival in the 90s was a mistake. Well, I mean, you've been complaining for 30 years, man. I'm sorry to tell you. There's nothing you can do about it. I haven't seen Green Goblin actually do anything Green Goblin-y since, Jenkins' run, which is a good 20 years ago. So,
He's barely a goblin.
Yeah, he's barely a goblin. White Raven 96, can you please do Scooby Apocalypse on back issues either in September for the 53rd anniversary of Where Are You or in October for Scooptober? Those words have no meaning for me. I don't care about Scooby-Doo the way that other people do. I didn't mean to make it rhyme. I'm sorry, but it's just the way it is.
You rhymed do with do.
That's as good as most people's. That's good as any
rhyme.
song today. But that being said, I've thought about doing Scooby Apocalypse. The last time we were going to do it was for the Scoob movie, but COVID made that movie never come out. So, you can watch it, but
not in theaters.
Not in theaters. Never.
Unless
in theaters,
they released it,
which they will never do, with 2 O's. But yeah, so maybe I might do it, but based on how friggin' popular he is for some reason, people are really excited about Scooby-Doo. Maybe Halloween would be the time to do it.
But I usually do Halloween.
That's true. Well, we could do a whole month of Halloween.
But I usually don't.
And George McKay drops in to say some money for Tiff's impression of Pariah from War of the Gods back issues. I loved how salty Pariah made Tiffany. Yeah, me too, man.
I didn't realize how I remember reading through War of the Gods and we run into Pariah in the book and I'm like, oh no.
But he suffered, guys. Yeah.
No.
He says that.
It just doesn't stop. He's just the worst. He's the worst. He's the actual worst. Pariah, you're the worst.
Yeah. Sorry.
You're not sorry.
No.
What's going on here? What are you doing?
Toasted says, I think there's a place for a Brave and Bold-esque show today. Rewatched it recently and found it enjoyable. Yeah, it's a great show. Batman Brave and the Bold was a great show.
Awesome. How many more comics do you have? I got a lot.
That's it.
Oh, no.
Yep.
I've got a bunch.
I know.
Okay. I read King Conan.
You did.
Number 5 this week by Jason Aaron and Mahmoud Asrar on art. And it's good. It's so good. It's great.
How many more issues are there?
I think it's
Conan?
1.
I think it's 6, right?
I think it's just 6. This is the penultimate issue. We get a little backstory on Thoth Amon, which is great because at one point there's a freaking editor's note that references one of the original Conan books.
Oh,
I'm like, of course
cool.
It does, because Aaron's a big Conan fan, so he could just put it in himself. He's just like, yep, it says right here, as detailed in REH's original, The Phoenix on the Sword.
Oh, cool.
I'm like, of course. Of course it is.
That's awesome.
Yes. It's just the two of them working together. And listen, if you just like watching Jason Aaron write people saying really cool things and have an actual solid story behind it with art that matches how cool it is and cool the imagery is, yeah, this is for you.
Cool.
This is definitely for me. There's a panel near the end where you got Thoth and Conan fighting together. And it's a narration, but it's we're getting from the omniscient narrator Thoth's thoughts about how it's an orgy of blood, glee, and savagery, and roaring laughter in the face of death. And that this is what it's like, Thoth the Wizard. This is what it's like to be Conan. And I'm like, damn it.
Yeah.
It's just so
I know. I wish his Avengers was good.
I know. But yeah, I just love this book. I am so sad that it's kind of gonna be it.
Yeah. Forever.
For now, we'll see.
No, forever.
It's never gonna be forever. You never know.
No, it's true.
You never know.
No, I don't.
And right now he's on Savage Avengers, so you can go over there. But
for the next issue.
This is gonna be the end of the road for Aaron's Conan. Which is just it's a shame, but I'm so glad we got it because who would imagine that we would have gotten this many issues
right
of Conan from Marvel, and not just Aaron's Conan. There's Zub's Conan.
Yeah. There's the reprints of the old Marvel run of Conan.
Yeah, but like it just kept going.
Yeah.
Conan's been in Savage
Oh
Avengers.
God, Conan 2099.
Yes, there was also the event that Zub
Yes,
did
the
with,
Serpent Crown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been a really good run if you were digging this version of Conan. And I'm glad we're gonna have these books.
Yeah.
It's like you can always go back and read them. And we did get Aaron's promise of King Conan. I wonder if it wasn't also he saw the writing on the wall.
And he's like, I better wrap
We got
this
to put
up.
this thing out. We got to get it out there. So
yeah,
it's a good book.
Mm-hmm.
Good book. Really, really liked it. Ghost Rider.
Wow, you read that?
By Ben Percy with art by Corey Smith and Brent Peoples. Yeah, I read it. I liked the second issue quite a bit.
I thought you weren't a big fan, but
no,
right.
I liked it.
Okay.
No, I really did. I really enjoyed it. This issue was a little less tight for me for some reason, and I can't quite put my finger on what it was, but it doesn't mean it was a bad book and doesn't mean it was a bad issue.
Yeah.
What I realized is what I really enjoyed about the first and second issue, especially the second issue, was, listen, I love Ghost Rider, and I like the fact that Ghost Rider has like a lot of deep lore and mythology, but the fact is, why do people like Ghost Rider? It's because he looks cool. Because he looks cool, right?
Yeah, that's it.
And what I enjoy about this is that we're getting into some other stuff. There's first appearance.
We're getting in the weeds of Ghost Rider again.
We're just touching it.
For some reason, they can't help themselves.
We're gently getting into something. Something's going on because we introduced the Council of Night Magicians, which I
sounds right.
So if you want the first appearance of the Council of Night Magicians,
pick up Ghost Rider number 3.
Yeah. What I really enjoy so far is Percy has been just painting a picture of Americana horror, the idea of the urban legend, the road trip gone wrong,
yes,
roadside, attraction,
okay,
that America is known for, where it's you go and you see something ridiculous or whatever, right?
Yeah.
There's something there, but it's something seen usually on a big long silly road that was created in the 50s because that was it. Everybody was traveling and it was America was hitting the highways and driving, right?
Yeah.
There's something to that, and it's that sort of homage to Ghost Rider going to different places and experiencing instead of a fun roadside attraction, some sort of horror
Carnival
thing.
Of horrors,
it's he's drawn to it. It's got a little Silent Hill going there. Maybe that's
what you like
what
about
I really
it.
Liked about it. But it's also it's more about that than it is Ghost Rider, right? Because it's and I'm maybe that's
some world building for no reason.
Maybe,
look at all this cool stuff that isn't Ghost Rider related.
Key to a Ghost Rider story now is setting it against something like that. Now I think we are going to get more into this. There's FBI agents chasing him.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking a lot about the spirit of vengeance and what he feels like and how he's blacking out when he becomes the spirit of vengeance and what happens. So I think we're going to get a little more into it, but right now I'm really just digging on the fact that it's Johnny is seeking something, but things are also just kind of happening.
Yes, to him.
And he's solving it as Ghost Rider.
Yes.
Because he can't help himself. But I was maybe that's the key. I don't know. But I did enjoy it quite a bit. There's kind of a Stephen Kingian homage. There's a evil truck.
That'll do it.
There's an evil truck.
Is there a goblin on the front of it?
No, it's just a truck.
Okay.
It's just a big scary truck. However, if you're wondering, does Ghost Rider take a different tractor trailer and make it into his Ghost Rider vehicle? Yes.
Good.
Prior to that, there is a couple of panels in this which for me is just nightmare fuel. Total nightmare fuel. If you ever drive with me anywhere and we're on a highway and we see a truck that I know has animals in it, I have to get away from that as fast as humanly possible.
Yep.
Because in my head that is going to be a disaster, and I just don't. But that is in this.
Okay.
That is in this book, and I was like, why?
Oh no,
why that happens?
That's great.
So it's a good book. I'm enjoying it. Like I said, this one was a little. We're managing 3 different storylines here, and I didn't feel quite as tight as the last issue. But I think Percy's just playing with it. Yeah, playing with it, finding his way. And I think if you're a Ghost Rider fan, you're probably going to enjoy this.
Great.
And if you're not, I don't know, you might dig it anyway, because if you like horror, there's definitely something here for you.
Totally.
And I forgot that you were all done.
That's right.
I was just sitting here like waiting for the next thing.
That's right.
X-Men 92.
Yeah, you were talking about this
Came out
earlier.
Written by Steve Fox with art by Salva Espin. Another really great graphics page.
Yay!
Look at this thing.
Look at that color.
Just so silly fun.
That's awesome.
This is basically a what if. That's what it feels like.
This is what the premise is.
What if
the cartoon
the
show.
cartoon show did Krakoa.
Right.
And it turns out Jubilee is the Moira.
Mm.
Right. And so you're just gonna get the look and feel of the X-Men animated show throughout. I would love to know if someone who isn't reading current X-Men had picked this up, how they're dealing with it. Like, is it approachable? Because like in my head, I'm like, it is. And I'm like, but I'm also getting a different level of enjoyment out of it, knowing what the reality of it is in like the main, like Rogue is Kitty Pryde in this. She's got the Marauder ship.
Okay. That's cool. All right.
So I'm like, oh, that's fun. And I'm like, but is it more fun for me? Because I know it's not her role.
Yes.
Right. Sinister's working with Beast. And Beast is Beast from the show. He's not a friggin' monster. Not angry Rogue. He's not angry Beast.
Yes.
Sabretooth is here.
Right.
Because he didn't get thrown in a hole.
No. Well, he's not much of a murderer in that show. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like, I think you can enjoy it, but I would love to know, if you have not been reading the main X title, but you're picking this up, how you doing with it?
Right. Or how do you like it?
How do you like it? How's it going for you? But like Orcus is here. Like a lot of the names are all the same, right?
Yeah.
In this though, we get to see Jubilee's other lives.
Okay.
Like the first time she dies is in the mall playing video games.
The Sentinel gets
the Sentinel just kills her.
Cool.
She's like, I never even knew. Like I never met the X-Men, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like, I don't think she met them again, and then she did, and we go through there. But at one point, like one of her lives is her meeting the team that was from that X-Men cartoon that never was.
Yes, Pride of the X-Men, which was of course the inspiration for the
so the team arcade. Is like Wolverine and Colossus and Cyclops, Nightcrawler, Storm, and Dazzler. And it's all the costumes. I was like, that's so funny. And it's equally funny, more funny, because we just got you the arcade.
Right? So it's that cast.
Yeah. So this is silly and it's fun. And if you were a fan of the animated series, you're going to read this book in their voices.
Right.
If there's a voice associated in the cartoon, it's going to be in your head. Like it's just going to come back. Trust me. It's just there. You don't even know it. So fun. But like I said, I want to say if you're not reading X-Men, you'll be okay.
Right. Yeah, probably.
But
right.
But I'm not 100% on that. Which brings me to my last book that I read, which was Knights of X number 2.
Yay!
This is the continuation of the Excalibur series that Teenie Howard was doing. So it's written by Teenie Howard with art by Bob Quinn. Admittedly, the book looks good, but Quinn's art isn't always consistent.
Okay.
So like there's some really great stuff, and then like some stuff that like doesn't quite match the quality of his other panels, which is a shame. But I'm not gonna really give marks off and say it's like, oh, it's unreadable. It's just like it's noticeable.
It's just like, okay. it's just it's a little inconsistent.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Can I say I also just really like, I'm going to talk about this.
Yeah.
Their top left.
It's so good.
It's great. It's like, hey, so look, good. You're doing something.
It's so good. And then when you look at also the fact that it's like the top left matches where the barcode is, like they fit aesthetically, and they're doing something different with where the barcode, the way it's oriented, but that it looks like it matches.
Well, and it's
thoughtful.
All the other Krakoa X-Men books have this scheme, so it like it's consistent.
Yes. You'll notice it says Destiny of X.
That's the period.
Like
that's where we are.
Like, it's very well designed.
Thought out.
It's either Hickman or it's what's his name?
Oh, the designer.
Yeah, I can never remember his name. Tom Mueller.
There you go.
It's Tom Mueller. He's great.
Yeah.
If you're a design person, go follow him. Go find him. This series is basically dealing with a mythical quest back into other worlds. So if you liked that world, you're getting more of it. You're going to get, their alternative costumes, Rogue or Gambit as a rogue. Rogue's not here anymore. I just want to keep saying Rogue, apparently. Shogo's here, but Jubilee isn't. She didn't get chosen for the quest by the
mythical...
mythical...
Shogo a dragon?
Yes.
Okay.
The Siege Perilous is brought up, which is an X-Men favorite item. So they're on the quest for that. It's like the Holy Grail. It's great too because the Siege Perilous is not only tied intrinsically to X-Men history, but also tied to Arthurian lore.
Yep.
It's just kind of a different thing. The idea is the Siege Perilous was meant to be like the prize. Obtaining the Holy Grail.
Cool.
Like if you got the Holy Grail, you got the Siege Perilous.
Yeah, I never knew what the hell the prize was for doing anything.
Apparently,
in the Holy
it's
Grail.
that. At least according to this book.
All right. Seems good to me.
But like Merlin's in charge. He's in the role of Saturn. He's a magister, and he wants Saturnine, and he wants to get rid of all the mutants. And he's like bamboozled King Arthur into helping him. Mordred, it turns out, is a mutant. He's on the team too.
Okay, all right, cool.
And mutants. It's a fantasy setting, guys, but like it's very much has the feeling of like X-Men because it's like the X-Men are being hunted. The mutants of Otherworld are being hunted.
Right.
By they're called Furies instead, which is also something from the past of X-Men in terms of dealing with Saturnine.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, so the Furies are there. Also Captain Britain stuff.
Cool.
So that's like the otherworldly version of Sentinels.
Right.
So it's like you're getting that feeling.
You're getting X-Men, but it's like Excalibur X-Men.
Right, but there's like magic and swords and like Shatterstar's having a great time and
yeah. But for some reason they don't want it to be they don't want to call it Excalibur anymore.
No.
Because Knights of X feels a little more on the nose than Excalibur. Excalibur's like because that's what the feeling was. They wanted you to invoke that whole like whatever. I guess because like
I think it's because we moved into a separate thing.
Yeah.
And we have like the Legion of X. Like there's a lot of things of X right now. And this is this is like only like X amount of issues as well.
Sure.
And it ties into the quest because like there are 10 knights who went.
Oh. Knights and 10 of swords.
Yes. So there's a lot of like imagery and metaphors and whatever. It's a fun book. I really enjoy it quite a bit. But it does help if you've read
the previous series, or at least the previous issue.
To kind of understand, because Teeny really is just being like, listen, those of you who read, you shall be rewarded.
Right. That's nice.
So Saturnine's still kicking and being a pain in the ass, but like she's better than Merlin.
Right.
That's really what it is. It's the devil you know versus the devil you don't. So the end of this promises that we're going to Sevalith, which is the realm in Otherworld of vampires, which, as we know, is ruled by Death.
Oh, what?
The Horseman.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so he's kind of
cool
running that area.
That's awesome.
Or he's at least in that area.
Well, she definitely called Jubilee. She's not a vampire anymore, but still.
No,
she's like I used to.
Should have brought Storm.
Yeah,
they had a thing,
right? She and Dracula had a thing.
I meant she and Death.
Oh, that's interesting. They should have make it Dracula and bring Storm. I mean, it's like a triangle.
No.
A love triangle of vampirism. She wasn't really in love with Dracula. Dracula took her over, but whatever.
Yeah, there was a thrall. He thralled her.
I think Sienkiewicz drew that.
You don't want to get thralled, but like, see, look how good this is, and then there'll be some other panel.
Yeah, that's fun.
I'm like, oh, that's a little rough.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Just occasionally some stuff where I'm like,
yeah.
So.
It is the devil's bargain when it comes to having monthly serialized fiction coming out. But yeah,
some it depends. I think some artists really just
they thrive.
They thrive.
Yeah, Bagley doesn't have to worry about it, but everybody else, it's a hard time.
I don't know. Laraz doesn't need to worry about it either.
Well, when you're doing what Laraz does. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of somebody else.
Yes, you're thinking of somebody else. No, I'm thinking Laraz doesn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, no, he's great.
He's just incredible.
Yes, that's true. No, I'm sorry.
But no, it's a good book. I don't know how like required reading it's going to be, unlike with when Excalibur went into 10 of Swords. Excalibur kind of was important to like understand.
It was like the supplemental book. It was
like,
literally like
like it kind of led into it. You understood the world.
Yeah, it didn't come out of left field if you were reading that book.
Yeah, but this I just feel like it's just we're having fun. Let's just have fun. Let's just go deal with Betsy and that Captain Britain Corps, which is stuck. We're there still.
That's why we don't have Hickman anymore, right? So we can have fun in this world and do all this stuff. Better have fun. Better do it.
Have fun.
Hope it was worth it.
Yeah. I mean, I think this would have happened no matter what.
Well, probably because Teeny Howard and Hickman are friends.
Yeah. Yeah. And it also takes place in other worlds. So
right. So it doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect Krakoa is what I mean.
Not so well, it did.
Yeah, when Krakoa goes because they were gonna destroy it,
yeah,
but
because
whatever.
it was the link.
Yes.
But that now
there's no link.
Well, there is.
No, wasn't the gate turned into a guy?
Oh, they brought it back.
Oh, good. Okay.
But no, I meant because like Krakoa is linked to Otherworld, and Otherworld is linked to Amenth.
Yes.
And on the other side of Amenth was Arako.
Right.
Right. So it was like, it's still linked to that. And there's
Okay.
still characters, at least one that we care about that's over there.
Yep. Yes.
He's got to come back at some point.
And yeah, I hope Hickman comes back.
I hope Hickman is the bringer backer of
Apocalypse.
Like, it's like Hickman's back, so is Apocalypse.
Yeah, it better be. Andrew Forster, gotta go, but here's some cash before I head out.
Oh,
well,
thank
you're
you.
long gone, but we appreciate you being here, man.
Oh.
Storm King, Sal, I really enjoyed your comic, but it left you on a to be continued moment. Any updates or spoilers that you can share? Be well and stay safe. I appreciate your checking out my books. I don't know which one you mean. If it's Garth Kirby, The Cookbook of the Gods, it's still deliberate stinger. I have no book written, but that was just supposed. I just had the joke of a wereclown. I thought that'd be funny, so it's just supposed to set up this idea. I thought it was a funny presumption that a independent book that was written by me would ever have more than one issue anyway. So I put that in there as a tail end. If you're talking about Flight of the Binturong, which is available on flightofthebinturong.com, I set that up to be like the next chapter because I fully expected that to be a thing that would take off, and it didn't, so it will never have a sequel. The Telthonic says, I have been picking it up without reading current X-Men. I know a little of what's going on thanks to you guys, but it still seems friendly for entry.
Okay, cool. It feels like it, but then I was like, I doubted myself. I doubted myself with how much like I was having a hard time separating my knowledge of what's going on Krakoa. So that's great. So thank you. Thank you for letting me know.
Yeah. Those books, by the way, the Flight of the Binturong is on its own website. You can Google it. And Garth Kirby was on Comixology up until the merger. Who knows if it's still there? Are you okay?
Yeah, I punched the thing.
All right, let's recommend some books. So obviously, I'm going to pitch Thor 26. I need to catch up. I think I missed the last two, but I'm enjoying Banner of War. At the very least, these freaking covers are sick. But yeah, it's fun. Donny Cates, Martin Kokolo. The Amazing Spider-Man number 3. I read it already, but I'm excited for it. Zeb Wells, John Romita Jr. It's crazy. It's brutal. Give it a shot. Dark Knights of Steel number 7. Again, another book I got to pick up and get back into because there's a tie-in book that like tripped me up, and I was like, "What is this?" And it's like, "Oh, it doesn't matter. Don't read that." But this, of course, from Tom Taylor and Nathan Gooden. Check that out. Dark Crisis number 1.
Oh, here we go.
This is it. First chapter. Joshua Williamson, Daniel Sampere. The art's great. The story's fun. I'm looking forward to it. We'll talk more about it next week. Flashpoint V on number 2. Not to be outdone, Jeff Johns is doing his own comparative and competing book about his vision of the DC universe. Jeff Johns and Jeremy Adams and Tim Sheridan with Mikkel Yennin on art.
Jeez.
Yep, that's a thing. And Batman's Killing Time number 4.
And you know what's funny? DC's like, I don't care.
No, they couldn't care less.
Put the money in my hand.
The funny thing is, it's like someone would have to work there to care. You know, like it passes the desk of like whoever was supposed to like check it and give a crap, and they're just dust. This is written by Tom King with art by David Marquez. It took forever for this issue to come out, so I'm actually caught up on this one. What are you recommending, Tiffany?
That's a really great question because I didn't look at this ahead of time. Legion of X number 2 is coming out, so I'm definitely going to recommend that. That's the Kieran Gillen issue book.
Yeah.
Cy Spurrier. Wrong Brit that I like.
Wrong Brit writing X-Men that you enjoy. That's okay.
Give me a break.
There's 2 of them. There's 2 great, learned, well-written, or well-read.
We're putting this one up.
All right.
Yes. Thorn Identity agrees with me.
He agrees with you.
The Pariah is the worst.
Yeah. But it's fun that he's the worst. Now you don't have to feel bad for the villain. You can just kick him in the junk.
No. I hate him. He shouldn't get attention.
No one thinks about him.
I think
no one expects.
He like lives rent free up here.
No one expects Pariah. That's why it's fun.
DC Comics. Poison Ivy number 1 is coming out. I'm definitely going to check it out. If nothing else, because I got to pick out what variant cover I want.
Yeah, one of what was it, 55,000?
Yeah, at this point, that's what we're up to. No, there's quite a few variant covers. I think I like this one the best.
Yeah,
I think I like the Dan Mora one the best.
Well, what a shock.
There are so many good ones. You really can't go wrong here. But
true.
I think the Dan Mora one might
pick.
be my go-to. So I think I'm gonna have to pick that up in
Mm-hmm.
person. If you're reading Monkey Prince, I kind of fell off that book, but I still wanted to give a shout out to it. Number 5 is coming out.
Yeah, you're only like an issue behind, so you're okay.
Savage Avengers number 2 is coming out. So
Thank you for remembering.
Grabbing that. I really enjoyed Savage Avengers number 1. written by David Pepose with art by Carlos Magno. Just really well written book.
Yes. And
about,
joyful, like a fun book.
Joyful and about a bunch of characters you probably don't care about, but maybe you care about one of them, and that might be enough for you. Trust me. Go check it out.
That's true.
Go check that out for sure. I'm trying to read and vamp at the same time. It's a good time.
Well, yeah. Somebody asked earlier where they were like, "What about Red Sonja? What's her story with Conan?" And I'm like, "She's owned by Dynamite.
Yeah, it's a different company.
Different company. They used to have for like a brief period they shared a universe. I think in the books they did, and then not.
It's okay. Conan's got plenty of
babes." Of warrior women
who would like rip you in twain for saying
this
that.
is true. This is true. Yeah, that's fair.
There is Red Sonja books coming out. It's just they have nothing to do
with Conan.
Yeah, with one another.
No, and that's good. It gives her a chance to shine. By the way, Dynamite, I have a Red Sonja pitch. Just saying.
Yeah, you do. We
it's done. Yeah. Like it's ready to go.
Did I say Marauders number 3?
No.
Marauders number 3 is coming out. I'm like, no, there was another one. So I'll check that out, see what's going on. Psylocke has joined the team after Hellions fell apart, they kind of wanted to put some folk other places. So
yeah, well, you might as well.
Some characters moved over, like someone as capable as Psylocke
should be on a team. Yeah. One was with the kind of fan attention that she gets.
Well, I mean, yes,
she has a following.
She has a following.
Like Psylocke, so
yes,
use
exactly.
her.
Also, if you like anthologies, the big thick DC like $10 books, 104 page count for $10. DC Pride 2022 is coming out, so you can grab that as well. Yeah,
there you go.
I'm sure I missed something. Because
I'm sure I did
desperately
too.
to read quickly, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah, but listen, we want to thank you so much for hanging out with us. Don't forget to follow Tiffany on twitch.tv/ComicPop. Watch play video games on Tuesdays and Wednesdays on a typical basis, and we'll see you guys next time with the only episode of the Off the Rack. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and go to youtube.com/ComicPop for more episodes of Back Issues and, of course, our shorts. And we'll see you guys then. Thanks a lot for watching. I'm Sal.
I'm Tiffany.
So long, everybody.